Hey everyone, I'm in the middle of training for a boxing match, but I wanted to be here with you. I wanted to be here to help you how to do changing mixed numbers into improper fractions, okay? Good luck. Hey everyone, let's work on changing mixed numbers and improper fractions. We're going to start on this side where we have a whole bunch of mixed numbers, and we are going to change them into improper fractions. So you can use this part of our chart when we take an improper fraction with its big head. He's mad, and we turn him into a dad or a mixed number who's really confused. And these are the steps you can follow to help you do that. But before we even get into the steps, I just want to show you why it works. So if we have 2 and 6/9, this 2 is 2 wholes. The equal parts in the whole in this mixed number is 9. So having 2 wholes is like having 9/9 and 9/9. But then we also have part of a whole, this fraction, and the part we're focusing on, or the numerator, is 6. So 6/9. So if we wanted to show this in fractions, it would be like 9/9 plus 9/9, which equals 18/9, plus 6 more ninths to get 24/9. Now, if we use our strategies of multiplying, we can take 9 times 2, which is the same thing as 9 over 9 2 times. So that's why we multiply. We know 9 times 2 is 18, but then we still have to add on the extra 6/9. So we take 18 and we add 6 to get 24/9. Let's try it with 3 and 3/8. So 3 and 3/8, it's 3 wholes, and the denominator is 8. So one whole would be 8 over 8. 2 wholes, 8 over 8. 3 wholes is 8 over 8. Plus my extras, my 3/8 in the fraction. So that's like saying 8 3 times, or 8 times 3, and that gets us 24. But then we still have to add the extras, 3/8. So 24 plus 3 equals 27, and our improper fraction is 27/8. Now, 24/9 and 27/8 are improper fraction because there is more than a whole in the numerator. They have big heads and they are so rude. But it's just another way to show these are the wholes that we have, and our denominator is the equal parts in the whole. So now that you can see how that works, let's skip this step and just do the strategy to help us with number 3. So the first thing I'm going to do is 2 times 4. And I know that equals 8. And then I'm going to add on the extras in my numerator. So 8 plus 1 equals 9. Then my numerator is going to be 9. And my denominator is going to stay the same because the amount of parts in the whole didn't change. So 9 over 2 is my improper fraction. Number 4, I'm going to do 3 times 5, 15. And I'll write that 3 times 5 equals 15. And I'm going to add the extra, so plus 1 more, to get 16. So the numerator, or the part I'm focusing on, is 16. My equal parts in the whole is 3, 16/3. Number 5, I'm going to multiply 12 times 10. I know that is 120. So I multiply first, then I add on my extra, so 120 plus 7 equals 127. So the part I'm focusing on is 127, and my equal parts in the whole stays the same. My denominator is 12. All right, number 6. First, we're going to multiply 4 times 9, 1 less, 36. Then I'm going to add on my extra, 36 plus 1 equals 37. So I get a numerator of 37 and a denominator of 4 to get 37/4 as my improper fraction. Number 7, let's multiply. Chicks times chicks equals dirty chicks, 36. Then I'm going to add on the extras. So 36 plus 5 more equals 41. My numerator is 41. My denominator is 6. To get the improper fraction, 41/6. Number 8. First we multiply. Chicks times surfing equals 40 zoo, 42. Then we add on the extras. 42 plus 5 equals 47. Put that as my numerator, and my denominator stays the same. To get the improper fraction, 47/6. Number 9, 10 and 3/7. First, I'm going to multiply. 7 times 10 equals 70. After I multiply, I add on the extra, so 70 plus 3 equals 73. So my numerator is 73, and my denominator stays the same. To get an improper fraction, 73/7. Number 10, first multiply. 3 times 11 equals 33. Add on the extra, so 33 plus 1 equals 34. My numerator is 34, and my denominator stays the same, 3. To get the improper fraction, 34/3. And finally, on this side, number 11, we have 20 times 2. We're going to multiply. 20 times 2 equals 40. Then add on the extra, so 40 plus 1 equals 41. Your numerator is 41, and your denominator is 2. To get the improper fraction, 41/2, or 41/2. Okay, on the back we have improper fractions. We can tell because there's more than a whole in the numerator, 22/9. And we're going to need to change it into a mixed number. So we're making our mad numbers dad by following these steps here. But before we follow the steps on the chart, I just want to show you why it works. So we know a fraction is like a division problem. So 22/9 is the same thing as 22 divided by 9, where 22 is our dividend on the inside, and 9 is our divisor. So if we follow our long division steps and determine if I have 2 10-packs of Smarties to share with 9 kids, there's not enough to start passing them out. So I have to go to my next number. Now, if I have 22 Smarties, I have enough to pass out to 9 kids. So that's nice and easy. I only need 1 box here. Remember, I'm not doing 9 times what gets me to 2 without going over, because we don't have enough. But it's 9 times what gets me to 22 without going over. So that would be 2. Multiply, 9 times 2 equals 18. Subtract, 22 minus 18 equals 4. Compare 4 Smarties to share with 9 kids. That's not enough to keep passing out. So I bring up the 4, and it's the remainder because I don't have another box left. Now, if we want to turn this into a fraction, this is like having a remainder of 4 Smarties out of 9 kids to share them with. So it's really a remainder of 4/9. So that's how we get our mixed number of 2 and 4/9. If we follow the steps, first we determine, just by looking at this, 9 times what gets me close to 22 without going over. We know that would be 9 times 2. Then we add on to 9 times 2, which is 18. So add 18, 19, 20, 21, 22 to get 4 in the numerator. And then a denominator of 9. And you can see that it matches, 2 and 4/9. So all this really is division. These steps determine, add on to get the numerator, and then always your denominator stays the same. That will just help you think through it so you don't have to go through division every time. But let's do a long division problem one more time, and then we'll just follow the steps. So 30/7 is the same thing as 30 divided by 7. If we determine, if we have 3 Smarties, we don't have enough to share with 7 kids. So we underline the next number. Now that we have 30 Smarties, there's enough to pass out. So I draw 1 box. Remember, I'm not doing 7 times what gets me close to 3, but 7 times what gets me close to 30. You should put a 4. Then multiply. 7 times 4 equals 28. Subtract. 30 minus 28 equals 2. compare 2 Smarties to share with 7 kids. I don't have enough to pass out, so I can bring up the 2. The 2 is my remainder, and since my goal is to make a mixed number, I know that I have 2 Smarties left out of 7 kids to share with. So 2 sevenths, 4 and 2 sevenths. Another way to think about it is to determine 7 times what gets me close to 30 without going over 30. And then, 7 times 4 equals 28. And then 28 plus what gets me to 30? That would be 2. And then a 7 in the denominator because the denominator stays the same. Okay, let's try doing the rest without division. So if I have 9/4, I need to think 4 times what gets me close to 9 without going over. And I know 4 times 2 is going to get me close. That's going to get me to 8. But I'm still not at 9 yet. I know this is how many holes I have though. So there's my holes. And then I have to think 8 plus what is going to get me to 9 in my numerator. And I know 8 plus 1 gets me to 9. So my numerator is going to be 1 and my denominator stays the same. And I get 2 1/4. Let's try it with 7/5. I need to ask 5 times what gets me close to 7 without going over. I know 5 times 1 equals 5. So there is going to be 1 hole. And then I have to add on to get to 7. 5 plus what equals 7? 5 plus 2 equals 7. So my numerator is 2 and my denominator is 5 to get the mixed number 1 2/5. Number 16, 9/2. I need to ask 2 times what gets me to 9 without going over. I know 2 times 4 equals 8, so I can have 4 holes. And then 8 plus something has to get me to 9 to get my numerator, and 8 plus 1 will get me to 9. So my numerator is going to be 1, and my denominator stays the same, and I get 4 1/2. Number 17, 17/9. I need to ask 9 times what gets me close to 17 without going over. I know 9 times 1 would get me to 9, so I'm going to have 1 hole. And then I need to add on to get to my numerator. So 9 plus what equals 17. 9 plus 8 equals 17. So my numerator is 8. My denominator stays the same, 1 8/9. Number 18, 7/3. 3 times what gets me close to 7 without going over? Well, I know 3 times 2 equals 6, so I'll have 2 holes. And then I need to add on to get to my numerator. So 6 plus what equals 7? 6 plus 1 equals 7. So 1 is my numerator. My denominator stays the same to get the mixed number 2 1/3. Number 19, 17/7. First determine 7 times what gets me close to 17 without going over. I know 7 times 2 equals 14, so I'll have 2 holes. Then 14 plus something to get me to 17, 14 plus 3. So my numerator is 3, my denominator stays the same, and I get an answer of 2 3/7. Number 20, 10/3. 3 times what gets me close to 10 without going over? I know 3 times 3 equals 9, so I'm going to have 3 holes. And then add on to my numerator, 9 plus what equals 10? 9 plus 1 equals 10. So my numerator is 1, my denominator stays the same, and I get 3 1/3. 21, 13/8. 8 times something gets me close to 13 without going over. 8 times 1 equals 8, so I have 1 hole. Then I add on to get the numerator, so 8 plus something equals 13. 8 plus 5 equals 13. So my numerator is 5 and my denominator stays the same, and I get 1 5/8. All right, last one, number 22, 14/4. 4 times something gets me close to 14 without going over. I know 4 times 3 equals 12. So my whole is going to be 3. And then add on to the numerator, 12 plus something equals 14. That would be 12 plus 2 to get 2 in the numerator and a 4 in the denominator, and get a mixed number of 3 2/4. I got a little beat up, but I hope you learned something about mixed numbers and improper. Oh, I'm healing. Oh.